All right, it's time to bring it on. That's right, my hockey hat pack peeps. It's been a while, but it's time to bring it on down to the old shack, the hockey hat shack, because it's time for another edition of Islanders Hockey Post-Game Reports. All right, you know how it works, people. We start off by getting all the shilling out of the way. That's right. Check out the hockeyhatpack.blogspot.ca, and there's a lot of stuff to click through. There's actually a new thing to click through, which I'll mention at the end of the show. But let's get to the regular stuff, and I want you to check the Hockey Hat Guy out on Twitter. That's right. Click through the tweeting bird and check out the Hockey Hat Guy on Twitter. Also, Facebook, the Hockey Hat Pack fan page. That's right. I want you to get on there and like it, people. Come on. You know you want to do it. All you have to do is press a button on your mouse. That's all you have to do. It's not difficult. But it will pay off in dividends because you will be getting lots and lots of cool updates about the Charlottetown Islanders and what's going on with Hockey Hat Guy and the Hockey Hat Pack. Also, YouTube channel. Get on there, click through on the YouTube icon and subscribe. Subscribe big time because that helps a lot to keep this stuff going for you for free. That's right. Okay, check out these other great internet destinations. They could be on Twitter, could be a web page, but check them out if you want more information on your Charlottetown Islanders. All right, this is the first ever weekend wrap-up report. That's right. It's going to go quick. It's going to go fast, but there's going to be a lot of information going on there. We're going to go through these three games really fast and basically just the final stats. So let's lay it out right now. Here we go. The final stats for Friday's game. Islanders dropped the game 7-1. It was a rough one to watch. I was there live, very difficult. Shots 32-28. It was close for that, but the Russians were on fire for the Moncton Wildcats. Final stats for Saturday. The Islanders were home and they dropped the game 5-2. Shots were 39-28 for the Armada. A very competitive game for the Charlottetown Islanders. They were really skating well. Best 5-2 loss I think I've ever seen by any team. And there was no shame in that loss at all. Final stats for Sunday. The Islanders dropped the game 5-3. The shots were definitely one-sided, 48-27 for the Oceanic. And it was a difficult weekend in trying to get that streak broken, which is now at number 12. But, hey, what can you do? You know, you just got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on, getting on that ice, shooting that puck at the net, and they did that. They did that a lot more, especially in the Armada game, where we saw the return of Matt Bursey. Yes, Matt Bursey was back, and boy, I think he held that bus up, that Armada bus up. I think he held it up for about an hour after the game. Everybody wanted to talk to him, and I got a great picture with him. I put it up online, but I'm going to put it back up right now. I got a couple pictures, actually. And Matt's just a good guy. I mean, I've talked to him online, in person, and he's just a lot of fun. And he's one of those fan favorites that it was too bad that we had to lose him and trade him away to another team. It's part of the business, right? But it was great seeing him again. It's too bad Matt still isn't on the Islanders, but it was totally understandable why he was traded, and it's good to see him again. So anyway, hopefully we'll see Matt down the road again. All right, let's stay right on the wrap-up report, the weekend wrap-up report, and we're going to get to our first ever freaking soldier of the weekend. That's right, I took all three games and I just jammed them together, and I looked at one player. And I'll tell you, you'd think it would be difficult, but it was easy. It was very easy because I am going to pick. Yes, Mr. Mason McDonald. That's right. Follow him at at McDonald96. That's right. All of a sudden, I feel like listening to Bop by Hanson. I don't know why. Anyway, on Friday, he stayed in the whole game. It was 7-1. He stayed in the whole game, and I got to give it to him for that. And plus, that game on Sunday, that the shots were just being pelted at him, and there were 48 shots, but there were 48 really, really good shots. He was standing on his head, showing everyone. I really hope that there were some scouts in the audience, because, man, he showed that he should be drafted for sure, which I would be shocked if he wasn't, but he should be in the NHL someday. And I hope his growth as a player continues, and he keeps showing the fans and everyone else that his ability is great. And the beginning of the game, I will say this, actually, this is another thing. At the beginning of the game, he actually didn't seem to be seeing the puck very well for about the first 5 minutes, first 3 or 4 shots. And all of a sudden, he just, turned it right around and put on one of the best performances of the year. All right. Let us go to our new segment. Well, a new segment on a new part, on a new show, a new edition of a show. I don't know what you would call this, but it's the weekend wrap-up report. We are going to have the main event, but this is going to be a double main event, people. And what the main event's going to be, we're going to have this on the regular post-game show. It's basically going to be me having a commentary about something. And it's going to be something that's just straight up. It might not even be every episode. We'll find out. We have to play it by ear, because that's what you do when you're creating things. You need to see what works, and if it works, fine. If it doesn't, you go on to something else. But anyway, this is the first ever The Main Event, and it is a double main event. And it is entitled, Loves Me Some Wildcats Country and Uncle Hockey Hat Guy? All right. Let's go to the Loves Me Some Wildcats Country, the first title. And what it is me talking about how my highlight, basically, of the bus trip to Moncton was meeting the Moncton fans. Now, I've known some of them online for a while. I've said a lot of good words about Steve Young. I didn't see him at the game, but, I'll see him on Thursday, which is awesome. And but I got to meet a lot of these Twitter followers of mine, and it was great. It was an unbelievable experience. And I'm going to throw up some pictures as I'm going along here from, meeting Emily and meeting Lindsay and meeting David McKnight. And they were all great, all awesome to meet, exactly the way I thought they would be, actually. It's kind of funny, but that's a good thing, though. And Emily and I even did a little recreation of how, the reason why I got in contact with her on Twitter, which I'll be playing that later in the show. But it was awesome. But I think the number one highlight for me was meeting Brent and Brent DeBone, and it was really nice because he's down there as the number one fan, and you can tell he is the number one fan. And I got a picture with him, and you'll see it coming up right now. It was a lot of fun meeting him, and it was really good. And I think the highlight of it for me was, that, he was very comical. He had a really good sense of humor. And at the end of the game, of course, 7-1 loss. You just want to get out of there as a fan. But he comes up, and he's doing the fake tears thing. He's like, oh, wow, 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 wow. And I couldn't pick up on it because I was just kind of wired for sound from the bus trip. And then I believe it was his uncle said to me, oh, he's doing the tears things because you lost. And I'm like, So I just started laughing. It was awesome. It was awesome. So it was great meeting him. And there were a lot of other people that I met, too. I believe there was a guy with the last name Sonia. He had a very interesting looking jersey. I can't remember what it was. It was almost like a fraction or something like that. Very nice guy. There were a lot of people that worked there that I talked to during the game. There were so many fans that made the situation so much better. Especially losing 7-1. I still walked away feeling like it was a great place. And I will admit, and I'm going to admit it right now, that when I first went to a Moncton Wildcats game, I sat in a section that was heckling me big time. The seats weren't the greatest because we were right up against the glass. It wasn't the greatest situation in the world. But over the remainder of that game, the second game we went to, and then this game, I have to admit, I loves me some Wildcats country. All right, let's get to another day in this weekend, and that was on Sunday. And Sunday, my wife's family, her brothers, wives, and all my nephews and nieces, and her parents all came to the game. They do like a family outing once a year, and they decided this year they'll do the hockey game thing. Well, even though there was a loss, Uncle Hockey Hat Guy, as one of my nieces called me one time, was doing his thing, and they walked away. Even though there was a loss, wasn't the greatest game in the world, they walked away feeling like they had a great time. They got to, special shout out to Sly, because my one niece, hard to explain, but she has a situation, and she was scared to death of him. But once she understood that it was okay, that he was not going to hurt her or whatever, he basically turned on the charm, and it went from her being terrified to wanting to see Sly for the rest of the game. So that right there tells you that we have an unbelievably great mascot. And I've heard criticisms of Sly, his look, and I think he looks cool. I really like Sly. I've never had a problem with the look of Sly at all. I really do like him, and his ability to connect with the fans reminds me a lot of Wildcat Willie, actually, over in Moncton. We have got, if we don't have the best mascot in the CHL, we definitely have one in the top three, because this guy really knows what he's doing. All right, so we had a great time, and that was what highlighted my weekend. That's right, the double main event, and it was all positive. Because that's what the main event should be, baby. It should be positive. We got to walk away with more positivity, because right now we're in a tough time. We're in an actual rebuilding process, but there's a direction, and that's the important thing. Rebuilding happens all the time, but if there's no direction to that, with that rebuilding happening around you, then things are bad. But there is a direction here, folks. All right, one big time shout out. That's right. I mentioned him before. I got to mention him again. And that is to the Wildcats play-by-play guy, Steve Young. That's right. And I have to shout out to him, because he was unbelievably great help on putting over the fan bus trip to Moncton to all the Wildcats faithful. And I have to say that, he was actually, when it was released that we were going to be doing a fan bus, not 30 seconds after I tweeted it out, he was the first one that jumped. They basically direct messaged me on Twitter and said, whatever I can do, I will do it. Unbelievably nice guy. But I'll tell you, he did go what I thought was above and beyond with some killer radio segments during all the Moncton games leading up to the Islanders swinging into town this last Friday in the bus, for the bus trip. Your words, I must say, before and after the trip were insightful and extremely kind. I definitely consider you a friend of mine, For sure, Steve, and I hope it's the same as well, because you are a good guy, great sense of humor. Like I've mentioned before in other interviews, the killer laugh makes my laugh seem like nothing. And I must say, sir, the hockey hat is off to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. Yes, and hopefully we can do an interview or something. And I appreciate all your help, and I know that this is a guy that is, he's the Wildcats play-by-play guy. Yes, he's a London Knights fan. Being a Windsor Spitfires fan, it's very hard to come to terms with being buddies with a Knights fan, but I'll survive. But no, he's just a good guy, and he's a good guy for not just the Moncton Wildcats, but for the entire Q. And that is something that I think we cannot take for granted. All right, next game. That's right, the Islanders. I've mentioned it before. This is like a Moncton edition. I'm telling you, this is laden with Moncton and positive stuff about the Moncton Wildcats fans. So I cannot get tweeted by Wildcats fans at all about this show, because I am putting you guys over beyond belief. I'm bumping like no tomorrow for you guys. The Islanders, of course, they're good buddies from Moncton, are going to be swinging into East Link Center. That's right, for a 7 o'clock start. That's right, against the boys in gold and black. And that's going to be on Thursday night. And I want you to follow the Wildcats on Twitter. That's right, at Moncton Wildcats. And also check out their official site. And it's the link is right up there for you. Click it on, check them out. We got to support one another, people. The Q is considered the number 3 league in the CHL. I don't. As much as I'm an old school OHL fan, and I do dig the WHL, the Q is the one for me. All right, before we go, that's right, I mentioned it before, I touched on it before, but there is another little icon you can click through at the bottom of the page. You will notice it. It looks familiar. It is the Battle of the Bridge video game. That's right. You want to relive our continuing rivalry, friendly rivalry with the Moncton Wildcats? Check out this game by my buddy and fellow Islanders hockey fan at Mactron Gaming. That's right. Click on through, and I want you to download this game and give it a shot. It is a lot of fun. Forget Angry Birds. What's that other one now? Oh, I can't even think what it is. It's that game that people find is either annoying or they love it or whatever. But I don't even care. But this one is not. This one is a lot of fun. And a little reminder, do not shoot the hockey hat. As much as it's fun to do, and the sound that it makes, don't hit it, because you actually do lose points. And I don't know, I don't like the idea of my hockey hat getting destroyed. I have a hard enough time keeping this thing together to get through the rest of the season. So I want you to go to the hockeyhatpack.blogspot.ca. Go down to the bottom of the page. It is nothing but fun. And hey, it's Islanders supporting Islanders. And to me, that is the only way to go. All right, so it's time to... Okay, all right. Breaking news. Yes, breaking news is on. And, all right, okay. Yes, the mystery. Oh, yes, the mystery of the pronunciation of number 44's last name. We all know who he is. On the Charlottetown Islanders has been solved. That's right, this hockey-hatted reporter has been working painstakingly, taking on all the challenges to get this information for you, the loyal viewer. Okay, the truth is I ran into Anthony's father before the game, and he gave me the actual pronunciation, and it is... Cortez. Yes. And boy, do I feel like a horse's ass, more so. Because, if you remember, I was under the impression that it was pronounced Cortez, and made light of the fact that it was Cortez. Anthony's dad must have a good sense of humor because he seemed happy to meet me, and the chat we had was quite enjoyable from my end as well. So all apologies to the Cortese family, and I promise that I will never mispronounce the name Cortese wrong again. I'm being told it's... oh boy. I did it again. Cortez. So until next time, keep your stick on the Cortez ice, and don't Cortez, get stuck. Cortez, boom, Ryulago, say Ryulago, pronounce Ryulago, Cortez. Good night, everybody. Cortez, Ryulago.
Look at this asshole's jersey foul.
Hey, what are you doing?